Read it. So I am, with no further ado, as they say, I'm going to get on to this poem I wrote last night, just about 10:30 in the evening. I was stricken, I was compelled with an irresistible desire to write. And I titled it, When God Called Me into the Station. And I want to devote this poem to the lady I'm in love with. And I just want to thank her for being so cute and for being so absolutely, irresistibly attractive to me. But she's absolutely perfect in every way imaginable. I just want to merge with her, and I'd like to go through eternity with her. And of course, I am very unabashed about that, very forward about that, because, like I say, I have to live with myself, and I have to look myself in the mirror. And King Solomon alluded to this feeling I'm getting that practically transcends words when he talked about love restrained is worse than open rebuke. So when you love somebody that much and you repress it, you restrain it, it's worse than if you just came out and said, something mean. Say, wow, you're so enticing, so irresistibly beautiful, and perfect, precious, pure and innocent, and solid, down to earth, so hard headed, so godly in nature, character, so desirable of my heart. So it's the kind of thing you have to ruminate over, contemplate that kind of love. And when it's appropriate to say, I cannot be silent. I've got to let this person know how I feel about them. And I can't speak for women, but we know the paradigm. We know that are the ones that make the advance first. It has to be, it's in the guy's court always, because we know that generally speaking, it's ladies don't make the first move. It's got to be a guy that shows some interest in the gal, and then she lets him know if she's interested to having that first date, and on the terms. It's up to the gal, because as we all know, the gals have a pick of many, many men, and it's a whole different paradigm for men and for women in this. I think it really comes down to some form of natural law, really. It's just the way it is. We all know how men can be, and competitive and envious of a man that has a beautiful woman. And it's funny, when I was married to a beautiful woman, and there's no end to these guys that want your wife. They want your beloved. And I could never understand that with all the fish in the sea. I thought, why are these guys picking on my beloved? And to this day, I don't understand those kind of men. Because for me, I've never been a heartbreaker, and I have never been a homewrecker. And even if a gal has a boyfriend, I, I stay away. So unless I really believed that this gal was a single, unattached woman, which is mind blowing because she is so absolutely stunningly attractive to me. Um, it boggles the mind that she could be single. But I wouldn't bother her if she had so much as a boyfriend that I knew of. So that's who I am. That's who I choose to be. Okay, without further ado, I'm going on to this poem, my friends. Many years ago, I was a very happy man. I had my beloved by my side. She was ideal for me, perfect in every way. But I fell into folly, lost my way, and lost my love. For what seemed like an eternity, I sought in vain to find my love and win her back. Sadly, it was not to be. Then one day, I had the most auspicious dream. In the dream, I saw a new beloved. She was an exquisite beauty. We softly gazed into each other's eyes. We blended into one. We entered eternal bliss. Upon awakening from this most beautiful dream, I remember her face and where I had seen it. I desperately tried to secure a date with her, simply to let her know how I felt about her, to let her know my intentions for her were good, were innocent, and my love for her was pure. Quite simply, I wanted her hand in holy matrimony. That to me, she was perfect in every way. I began to wonder if my love sickness was simply delusional, and questioned whether there was any real hope of requieting my love, of soothing my lovelorn soul. I prayed with all my might to the God of heaven, how I depended upon him to fill my racked soul with blessed hope. As usual, he came through for me, though I was still swimming in an ocean of pain and loneliness. I was thoroughly smitten. I wanted her more than anything in the world, including everything in the world. Then I got a call. It was God. He told me to come into his office right away. He wanted to speak with me. He sat me down and explained that he completely understood how I was feeling. I wept uncontrollably with the comfort I gleaned from knowing God knew how I felt and cared enough to let me know that he knew. He stated that he wanted to assist me with this serious dilemma. God went on to explain that he not only knew me and loved me, but that he liked me. He told me I had entertained angels with certain simple acts of kindness. I had shown to the downtrodden, to the dispossessed, and he wanted to do something for me, whatever I wished. He had known beforehand exactly what I wished. Then he reached into a drawer and removed a very large book. It reminded me of a mugshot book of sorts, perhaps like those seen in a police station. He handed me the book and told me to identify the girl whom had thoroughly taken me. For untold hours I perused through the book. I carefully turned, leaf by leaf, with an unwavering, stubborn determination to identify her. I was completely bent on finding her image, if indeed it existed therein, the pages of God's book of love. Then suddenly my countenance ignited with joy as I exclaimed, "It's her! The girl of my dreams." There was no mistaking this perfect female specimen. Her face was embedded in my heart and mind. As I gleefully stood up, I placed my finger on her image and definitively told God, "That's her." God retorted, "I already knew." And instead of asking God why he made me leaf through his giant book of love, if he already knew, I became speechless. God then told me I could leave his office, that I should go home and get some rest, that I must remember something, that his will would prevail no matter what, no matter my will, though our wills may intersect. I agreed to embrace his advice and patiently awaited what the future may hold, all the while hoping and praying that our wills were one and the same. My friends, when God calls you into the station, just go. Lay all your cards on the table with him. He is trustworthy and true. He knows, loves, and understands you better than anyone else does, including yourself. Let not your hearts be troubled. Rather fill your hearts with so much love. There is no room for lesser things to dwell therein. May God be with the lovelorn. Be patient. He will not allow his friends to be alone forever. He will find a suitable helper, a mate, a beloved, so that we may be fulfilled, be whole. His promises are great. We should all be very grateful that we have a tremendously loving owner, a loving Almighty Creator God, as our parents. So the next time you get called into the station, take heart, be strong, and prepare for good news. And perhaps the news you yearn for. Yeah, my friends. Phew. Wow. I just, I don't know what to say at this point, except that since I know better than I ever have known in my life how badly somebody can want another person, I have a lot of empathy for all those lovelorn people out there. And as painful as it is, it's healthy. It's good for us. Because it helps keep us on our toes and reminds us that we can never be self-satisfied. We'll never be content and happy to be alone. That we want, more than anything else in this world, if we're in our right mind, we want a beloved to go through life with, one day at a time, to go through eternity with. Okay, friends, I'm going to get on to commenting on some recent current hype events and talking points from this past week. Yeah, and I already talked about how I felt this whole week, and I just please forgive me. Uh, you know, the good news is it's not going to happen again. The faux pas, the Freudian slip. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I hurt myself the most, and whenever we talk foolishly, um, that's what happens. But please forgive me. It's not going to happen again. But it was what was in my heart for the most part. But it had no business coming out my mouth. And what I wished I had said was simply that I'd like to kiss her all over, and that's true. It's puppy love. I want to snuggle her, and of course I'm referencing this girl that I've been taken by, and I want more than God knows anything in the world. But Just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please. I beg your forgiveness. And just know that forgiving myself for talking foolishly has been very, very difficult. It took a lot of work. It took the whole week. And I'm so happy to have this opportunity to make sure everybody knows that I am going to watch the words that come out of my mouth much more carefully from here on out. So